Most people believe their biggest financial threats are obvious, high-ticket expenses like rent, groceries, insurance, or utility bills, because those costs are visible, predictable, and large enough to demand attention every month. Yet the real danger to long-term financial health often hides in plain sight through small, recurring monthly costs that feel harmless and barely noticeable on their own. Subscriptions to streaming platforms, mobile apps, cloud storage, gym memberships, digital tools, premium features, delivery services, banking fees, and set it and forget it payments quietly slip out of accounts with little resistance. And because each individual charge is relatively small, they rarely trigger alarm bells or prompt careful review, creating a false sense of control that allows these expenses to multiply unchecked over time. The psychology behind this is simple but powerful. Humans are far more sensitive to large, immediate losses than to small, repeated ones. So a 10 or 15 charge feels inconsequential compared to a rent payment or a grocery bill, even though that same 10 and recurring monthly expense adds up to 120 a year, and several such charges combined can quietly rival or exceed more obvious costs without ever feeling painful in the moment. Many of these expenses are intentionally designed to fade into the background with automatic renewals, vague billing descriptions, free trials that convert into paid plans, and minor price increases that go unnoticed, all working together to ensure money continues to flow out with minimal friction or conscious decision making. Over time, these small leaks form a steady drain on finances, reducing cash flow, shrinking savings potential, and limiting the ability to invest or take advantage of opportunities. Yet, because there is no single dramatic moment of loss, people often underestimate the cumulative impact and continue paying for services they barely use, forgot about, or no longer need. The real cost of these recurring expenses is not just the money spent, but the opportunity cost of what that money could have become if redirected toward debt repayment, emergency savings, skill development, investments, or experiences that genuinely improve quality of life, since even modest monthly amounts can compound significantly when invested over years or decades. For example, the combined total of unused subscriptions, convenience fees, and unnecessary services might seem trivial month to month, but over a lifetime, that same money could represent a down payment on a home, a comfortable emergency fund, or a substantial retirement boost, highlighting how seemingly small decisions repeated consistently can shape financial outcomes far more than occasional big purchases. Another reason these hidden expenses are so dangerous is that they create complacency, encouraging the belief that finances are under control simply because bills are being paid on time, while in reality money is being slowly siphoned away without intention or value in return, making it harder to build momentum toward financial goals. This quiet erosion often goes unnoticed until a financial shock occurs, such as a job loss or unexpected expense, at which point the lack of savings or flexibility becomes painfully clear. Recognizing these hidden drains requires deliberate awareness and periodic review, because financial health is not only about managing large expenses, but also about ensuring that every recurring payment aligns with current priorities and provides genuine value. By shining a light on these overlooked costs and questioning whether each one still serves a purpose, individuals can reclaim control over their cash flow, reduce waste, and redirect money toward goals that actually matter, proving that the most powerful financial improvements often come not from dramatic lifestyle changes, but from consistently plugging the small leaks that silently drain wealth over time. Subscription services are among the most insidious financial culprits, quietly eating away at people's budgets under the guise of convenience and affordability, because platforms for streaming movies and TV shows, music apps, cloud storage, fitness memberships, software tools, gaming services, and premium features all appear manageable when considered individually, and paying a few dollars here or there feels harmless in the moment, giving a false sense of control and minimal financial impact. Yet the real danger lies in accumulation and the subtle compounding effect of multiple subscriptions stacking up over time without conscious awareness, which is why so many people fail to recognize the true cost of their habits until the monthly statements reveal a surprisingly large total. In many cases, individuals forget what they've signed up for, overlook auto renewals, or simply continue paying for services they rarely use, often out of inertia, convenience, or the assumption that it's only a few dollars. But these small payments, when combined across half a dozen or more subscriptions, can easily rival major expenses like a utility bill, a phone plan, or even a portion of monthly rent, demonstrating how what feels negligible on a day-to-day basis can quietly drain significant amounts of money over weeks and months, and even years. The psychology behind subscriptions amplifies their financial impact because they are designed to minimize friction and decision making. Free trials automatically convert into paid plans, billing descriptions are often vague, and small price increases go unnoticed, all of which ensures that the money continues to leave accounts with little conscious thought, while the perceived value diminishes as engagement wanes and habits shift, creating a mismatch between cost and benefit that many never stop to question. Moreover, subscriptions have a way of multiplying unnoticed. Signing up for a single service often leads to further enrollments in complementary or related offerings, either through promotions, bundled features, or algorithmic suggestions, which can quickly transform a handful of minor payments into a substantial monthly outflow. Yet, because each charge is relatively small, people rarely experience the psychological pain of loss that prompts reevaluation, and this slow accumulation becomes normalized, blending into the background of everyday spending and making the total cost almost invisible until a detailed review is conducted. The consequences of this hidden expense extend beyond mere dollars spent, affecting financial flexibility, savings potential, and long-term wealth accumulation, because money funneled into subscriptions is money that cannot be invested, saved, used to pay down debt, or redirected toward experiences and goals that actually provide value. And over time, even modest monthly charges can compound into thousands of dollars, representing lost opportunities that could have funded a down payment on a home, bolstered retirement savings, created an emergency fund, or supported personal development and enrichment. Awareness and intentional management of subscriptions are therefore crucial, requiring periodic audits, careful tracking of services, cancellation of unused or redundant memberships, and prioritization of those that provide real value, because financial health is as much about controlling small, repeated expenses as it is about managing large, obvious ones, and reclaiming even a modest portion of these recurring charges can significantly enhance disposable income, reduce financial stress, and empower individuals to make more strategic decisions with their money. By examining subscriptions with a critical eye, questioning whether each one serves a meaningful purpose, and remaining vigilant about auto renewals and price changes, individuals can prevent their finances from being quietly drained by what initially seemed like innocuous monthly charges, transforming what is often an invisible, creeping expense into an opportunity to regain control, improve cash flow, and redirect resources toward goals that truly matter, proving that even small, repeated payments, if left unchecked, can accumulate into a surprisingly large financial burden that rivals more obvious monthly obligations. and that the path to financial clarity and stability often begins with simply shining a light on the subscriptions that silently shape spending habits. Another frequently overlooked drain on personal finances is lifestyle inflation, a subtle yet powerful force that quietly erodes financial progress as income grows, because when people begin earning more, their spending often rises automatically and almost invisibly, shifting toward better phone plans, frequent food delivery, upgraded internet packages, premium streaming bundles, ride hailing services, convenience subscriptions, and other small improvements that feel justified by hard work and higher earnings. And while each upgrade may seem reasonable in isolation, especially when framed as a quality of life enhancement, these changes are rarely questioned once they become routines, gradually transforming temporary indulgences into permanent expectations that reshape monthly budgets without conscious intent. The psychological trap of lifestyle inflation lies in its normalization. Once a higher level of comfort is experienced, it quickly becomes the baseline, making it feel inconvenient or even uncomfortable to scale back, even if the added cost does not meaningfully increase long-term happiness. And because these expenses are spread across multiple categories and often charged automatically, they do not register as major financial decisions, despite the fact that they steadily lock individuals into higher fixed monthly obligations. Unlike one-time purchases, these recurring upgrades compound over time, reducing financial flexibility and quietly consuming the extra income that could have been directed towards savings, investments, debt reduction, or future goals, creating the illusion of progress while actual financial security remains stagnant or even declines. The real danger is not a single upgrade or occasional indulgence, but the cumulative effect of permanently increasing fixed expenses, because once spending commitments rise, they become difficult to reverse, and any drop in income, whether due to job loss, reduced hours, economic downturns, or unexpected life events, can quickly turn a comfortable lifestyle into a source of stress and anxiety. Many people discover during financial disruptions that their higher income never translated into resilience because the additional earnings were absorbed entirely by lifestyle upgrades rather than building a safety net, leaving them vulnerable despite outward appearances of success. Lifestyle inflation also subtly shifts priorities, encouraging short-term comfort over long-term stability as convenience and premium options replace more mindful spending choices, often without delivering proportional value or lasting satisfaction. Yet, because these expenses are justified as rewards for effort or signs of progress, they are rarely labeled as wasteful, even when they undermine future security. Over time, this pattern creates a fragile financial structure in which maintaining income becomes essential just to sustain current living standards, reducing freedom, increasing pressure, and limiting the ability to take risks, change careers, or pursue opportunities that might temporarily lower earnings but offer greater long-term fulfillment. Awareness is the first step in countering lifestyle inflation because financial growth is not defined by how much one spends, but by how much flexibility and security one gains as income rises, and intentionally resisting automatic upgrades, periodically reassessing recurring expenses, and distinguishing between genuine value and habitual convenience can prevent income increases from disappearing unnoticed. By keeping fixed costs relatively stable while income grows, individuals can channel the difference into savings and investments that compound over time, creating a buffer against uncertainty and a foundation for lasting financial independence. Ultimately, lifestyle inflation is dangerous precisely because it feels harmless and even deserved, yet its long-term impact can be profound as it quietly transforms higher earnings into higher obligations, making financial stress more likely rather than less,
Yeah.
and reminding us that true quality of life is not defined by constant upgrades, but by the freedom, security, and peace of mind that come from sustainable spending choices and deliberate financial control. Fees and interest charges represent another silent yet powerful force that steadily erodes personal wealth, often without triggering the same emotional reaction as more visible expenses, because bank fees, late payment penalties, overdraft charges, service fees, and credit card interest are typically embedded within account statements and billing summaries, making them easy to overlook or dismiss as unavoidable costs of managing money, even though they quietly siphon funds month after month. Carrying a balance on a credit card, even a relatively small one, means paying extra every billing cycle for spending that already occurred in the past, turning yesterday's purchases into ongoing obligations that generate no new benefit. And while the minimum payment may appear manageable, interest continues to accumulate in the background, extending repayment timelines and inflating the true cost of everyday expenses. The danger of these charges lies in their subtlety. Unlike a visible purchase such as a phone, appliance, or experience, fees and interest leave nothing tangible behind, offering no improvement in comfort, convenience, or quality of life. Yet they steadily reduce available cash, delay savings, and push financial goals further into the future. Over the course of years, the cumulative impact can be staggering, as small monthly interest charges and recurring fees compound into thousands of dollars lost, money that could have been invested, used to eliminate debt faster, or directed toward building an emergency fund or long-term security. Credit card interest is particularly damaging because it exploits the time value of money in reverse, working against the consumer by ensuring that the longer a balance is carried, the more expensive the original purchase becomes, often far exceeding its initial price, and this effect is amplified when multiple cards or lines of credit are involved, creating a cycle in which payments primarily service interest rather than reducing principal, making progress feel slow and discouraging. Bank and service fees further exacerbate this problem by penalizing inattention or cash flow challenges such as low balance fees, maintenance charges, or late payment penalties, which disproportionately affect those already under financial strain and can trap individuals in a loop where fees create additional shortfalls, leading to more fees and deeper stress. Because these costs are often normalized and framed as standard or unavoidable, many people accept them without question, failing to recognize that they represent a transfer of wealth away from their own goals toward institutions that provide little or no additional value in return. The psychological impact is equally damaging, as these invisible drains reduce motivation and momentum, making it harder to feel progress even when consistent payments are made, and this sense of stagnation can discourage proactive financial planning, reinforcing habits that perpetuate the cycle. Addressing fees and interest requires intentional awareness and disciplined management, such as regularly reviewing statements, prioritizing high interest debt repayment, avoiding unnecessary penalties, and choosing financial products with transparent and minimal fee structures, because even small improvements in these areas can produce outsized benefits over time. Eliminating recurring fees and reducing interest expenses is often one of the fastest ways to reclaim lost income, freeing up cash flow that can be redirected toward goals that actually build value rather than erode it. Ultimately, fees and interest charges are dangerous precisely because they feel intangible and unavoidable, yet they represent some of the most expensive money people ever spend, producing no lasting benefit and leaving nothing behind except a smaller bank balance and delayed financial aspirations serving as a powerful reminder that true financial progress is not only about earning more or spending wisely, but also about minimizing the silent costs that quietly undermine wealth over time. The solution to stopping hidden financial drains begins with awareness and consistent intentional review. Because you cannot fix what you do not see, and many of the most damaging expenses operate quietly in the background of everyday spending, which is why setting aside time once a month to audit your bank and credit card statements line by line can be one of the most powerful financial habits you develop, as it allows you to identify recurring charges, forgotten subscriptions, hidden fees, impulse spending patterns, and unnecessary services that slowly erode your income without delivering meaningful value. During this monthly review, cancel subscriptions you don't actively use or no longer enjoy, pause or eliminate services that duplicate functionality, and downgrade premium plans that exceed your actual needs, recognizing that convenience and perceived status often drive upgrades that offer minimal real benefit while permanently increasing your fixed expenses. Many people are surprised to discover how much money they are spending on streaming platforms they barely watch, apps they rarely open, gym memberships they don't use, or software tools they no longer need, and reclaiming even a portion of that money can immediately improve cash flow and reduce financial pressure. Beyond subscriptions, look closely for unnecessary fees such as bank maintenance charges, overdraft penalties, late payment fees, or high interest credit card costs, and take proactive steps to eliminate them by switching providers, negotiating better terms, automating payments, maintaining minimum balances, or adjusting spending habits to avoid costly penalties, because every dollar saved from fees is a dollar that can be redirected toward building real financial value rather than disappearing into institutional charges. The next critical step is to give the recovered money a purpose by redirecting it toward priorities that strengthen your financial future, such as building an emergency fund that protects you from unexpected expenses, investing for long-term growth and wealth accumulation, or paying down high-interest debt to reduce ongoing interest costs and accelerate financial freedoms. Even small monthly changes can create powerful long-term results when applied consistently, because saving or investing an extra amount each month compounds over time, turning modest adjustments into significant financial gains, while reducing unnecessary spending increases flexibility, lowers stress, and creates breathing room in your budget. This process also helps shift your mindset from reactive to proactive, encouraging you to make intentional decisions about where your money goes rather than allowing automatic payments and habitual spending to dictate your financial trajectories. By treating your monthly review as a routine check-in rather than a punishment, you gain greater control, clarity, and confidence in your financial life, transforming money management into a tool for empowerment rather than a source of anxiety. Over time, this discipline builds stronger financial habits, reinforces accountability, and fosters a deeper understanding of how everyday decisions shape long-term outcomes, helping you align your spending with your true values and goals instead of unconscious habits. Plugging these hidden leaks not only stops the slow drain on your wealth, but also creates momentum toward financial stability and independence, as the money that once disappeared into unnoticed expenses is now working for you, growing through investments, strengthening your safety net, or reducing liabilities that hold you back. Ultimately, the path to better financial health does not require dramatic lifestyle changes or extreme sacrifices, but rather consistent awareness, deliberate action, and a commitment to optimizing the small, recurring decisions that compound over time, proving that by taking control of your hidden expenses and directing your money with intention, you can transform silent losses into meaningful progress and give your finances the opportunity to support your future instead of quietly undermining it.